Welcome to the New Normal Podcast. I want to tell everybody thank y'all for tuning in today. We got a good one for you. If you have been living under a rock, we're going to be talking about Charlie Kirk once again. The reason we're talking about Charlie Kirk because it seems to be that is the only thing I'm seeing on all social media platforms. Even people I know that's not even in the political realm is talking about Charlie Kirk. We're gonna discuss a video. He actually debated his killer, which is some crazy shit when you see how contentious this debate actually is. We're gonna talk about Charleston White and what Charleston White had to say about Charlie Kirk's death. Charlie Kirk talking about DEI, was it a racist statement what he said? And people getting fired because of their statements and rejoicing, I guess, or celebrating about Charlie Kirk's death. So we got a good topic for you. Like I said, y'all make sure y'all like the video if y'all in the building. Make sure y'all share the video. Make sure you subscribe to the New Normal Podcast on all social media platforms. So how you feeling today?
Oh yeah, we're back, rejuvenated. September 15th. I told y'all this time shit is going
by fast.
Listen, it was just Labor Day. Now it's halfway. It was just Labor Day, Sid.
Yeah.
But we're back again on Miscellaneous Monday. Today, again, I think this is going to be a conversation over the next few months that's not going to go anywhere as more details unravel. But Charlie Kirk, was he a racist or was he a martyr? So we're going to kind of dive into some of his rhetoric, some of his commentary and encounters he's had, and just get our take and get your take on it. If you have something to say, you got to call in or you can comment, and we can get to it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So the first thing we're going to talk about, we're going to just review this video of him debating his killer. And you know, the internet, they can pull up anything or find anything when you put it out there on the internet. So that's what y'all got to remember. What you put out on the internet lasts forever. Even if you decide to grow, learn, or change your mind, the things that you say can and will be used against you in the court of the internet. People might say you was racist here, you might not be racist there, or you was cool here and you might be racist now. Even how they did Joey Swole, saying color people, or however you feel about that situation. Like, you got to understand, whatever you put out there on the internet will last forever. So make sure you know you're polished, especially if you want to get into this content creation space, making sure you know what you're saying and being able to stand on what you say, because that's a big thing I see when they talk about the woke mob actually putting you pressure on you to apologize and still getting counseled or getting your stuff taken down after you apologize. So the first video, we're gonna play this one right here.
Last year, you said something about DEI, unqualified black pilots. You see a pilot on a black pilot. Don't you think it was an irresponsible statement suggesting that maybe these pilots aren't qualified or unqualified?
No. But I'll tell you exactly what I said and why I said it.
Okay, go ahead.
I said the pretext.
Hold on, that's the wrong video. Hold on, real quick. Hold on. What did I upload to the same? Hold on, yeah, I uploaded to the same video.
Flag on the play.
Give me a second. My bad, guys. Hold on, let me upload this video real quick.
And like I said, I think we're going to do multiple extensions of this show in regards to Charlie Kirk, because I don't think we even got the clips where it was basically somebody did a research to a research paper to a degree, and they put up all of his commentary, right? And basically saying, well, is this racist? Is this just a difference of opinion? That is this, which I don't think in a lot of cases we give all of these gray areas to specific things or things that may be incendiary. You see what I'm saying? So that's the conversation piece. You know, what are you racist for stating facts or speaking the truth? Are you racist for, you know, certain beliefs and opinions? I believe so, because stating facts is one thing. But when you look at a demonization of a people using stats again that are not true representations, so you got to upload. So before we get to the next video, I just want to finish this up. But make sure we're looking at a lot of stats being thrown out. Take those stats with a grain of salt to see if the studies are valid. Is it confirmed? If it's consistent? Because a lot of these studies and stats that I put out, they got a little bias to them. So just be mindful of that when we listen to these facts and stats that we like to throw around.
I want to apologize again, guys, that I thought I uploaded the right video, but I actually uploaded 2 of the same videos.
Last year, you said something about DEI, unqualified black power.
I'm gonna delete that one, and hopefully this video will upload.
So we got a minute for it.
Yeah, it shouldn't take too long. Sometimes it'll upload quick. Sometimes it take a little minute. So I'm trying to get it to upload. And my take on this whole Charlie Kirk shit, I really don't give a damn about his rhetoric. I feel like the internet is a place for people to be kind of incendiary, to gain followers, to get traction, to build their name. And that's kind of why I want to talk about Charleston White later on today, because Charleston White is even a black man that came out and said he raped white women, and he said wild and outlandish shit all day long. And I don't think even Charlie Kirk, to me, has said anything is that drastic. Even talking about him going to jail or juvenile for killing a white man and stuff like that. Charlie Kirk, to our community, hasn't done anything of the sort. And you had said something earlier that somebody made a post about NBA YoungBoy being worse than Charlie Kirk. So I had to agree with that statement too. I do think NBA YoungBoy is worse than Charlie Kirk, especially how he has the attention of so many young people. And I did not know so many older people was fucking with NBA YoungBoy like that. I can't get into NBA YoungBoy. Like, it might be 2 songs that I hear, and those are typically the popular ones that I heard watching a basketball game, or somebody rolled by and I heard the song. But that mumbling, screaming shit, I can't get into it.
Yeah, when I first seen NBA YoungBoy back in like 2016, 2017, I just saw his video. I said, man, he gonna be the one. My boy that just called me. I said, man, you seen this dude? I sent it to him on Words. They said, no, I ain't seen that, but the video I said, man, he got all these people behind him like this. I said, it got to be something to him. But when you listen to his story, he does have a traumatic upbringing. You see what I'm saying? Very pain driven, and it's just that area that a lot of rappers come out. Baton Rouge it is special when you look at the talent that has came out of there. You got Boosie, Kevin Gates, NBA YoungBoy, your Fredo Bang. I want to say you got a bunch of talent because the area is very trauma stricken, and poverty stricken. So I can see how people will gravitate to him because everybody likes to identify with a pain and a struggle story.
Let me ask you this. Should we paint all white people with a broad brush and just not fuck with them?
Nah, because everybody's not the same. But it's a type that is. So you look at a certain type, that is what you do with a broad. I would say that's the brush you use. So let's say if I see 10 people out here, it look like 8 gang members. 2 of these boys could be innocent. They just trying to find their crowd, find their tribe. All of them may not be guilty, but just looking at 8 of them, the majority is. So unfortunately, that's how we judge. We look at the majority. So that's why media is so important. So when you get a Charlie Kirk, which has the power to create emotions in us by what he said, we shouldn't even care. Because we know this to be the truth that he's speaking about to a degree. Now, it may not be 100% accurate and representative and a representation of everybody he speaks about from the Black fathers, because it was another clip that we didn't get into. I'm gonna find it so we can talk about it this weekend. And it was a black man, and he was basically trying to use a narrative that black men abandon their children. And said, well, that's not true. You have a large pool of women having babies by a small pool of men,
just like the men in Tennessee.
23 baby mamas, 11 baby mamas. So that's not saying, but on the stat, it'll look as if it's 11 separate fathers.
For these 11. The 3 men that fathered 83 children, about 46 different women.
A large pool of women, small pool of men. So that's why I say our black media, or just media in general, is so powerful that we let strange that we never met make us crash out. We got clips we're gonna get into today. Lose your job.
Right.
Okay, you acknowledge the news. Okay, does it really impact me or affect my daily life? No. So I really wouldn't have no opinion on it anyway. We'll report on it because that's what we do here. But I wouldn't go to the extent saying he deserved to die. I'm not gonna get into all of that because what he said shouldn't impact me to where I want him to die.
And that goes into what I got loaded now. Let's play this video.
You know, I do look in a mirror. You know what I see? I see a sinner that wouldn't act the way you do, which is constantly interrupting, someone that wants to always be, you know, the center of conversation, hyper narcissistic.
This is what I think. I think
attitude,
you're
personality.
Name two times you've changed your mind because of a debate.
I have changed my mind plenty of times.
Give
In
two
fact,
examples.
I used to be anti-death penalty, and now I'm pro-death penalty. I used to be more libertarian on drugs,
but are you
and now I'm
pro-life?
less
Are you
libertarian on
abortion?
drugs.
Do you think
I am
believe
very
in-
much against abortion.
You're
in
against
fact.
abortion, even in a case.
Yes, I am.
Aren't
That's
you?
correct.
Wow, ladies,
Yes.
listen up. If you get raped, you're gonna have to hold their fucking baby.
Okay, but let's ask you. Can I ask you a question? If I had an ultrasound of a baby conceived in or an ultrasound of a baby conceived in a loving relationship, which one is which?
It doesn't matter. That's
No,
about the
because
context.
human rights do not stop based on the method of conception. Human rights are applied to all.
Wow,
In fact, did you know?
So rapists
Fact.
have more rights than a woman.
Well, actually, do you know that there's
About
someone?
the control of
do
their
you know?
body? You're
do you
saying
know
rapists
that
have
there's
more
someone in
control
this audience?
than the woman being
Did you?
raped?
There's someone in this audience that was conceived in. Can you tell me who it is?
It doesn't matter.
No, tell me who it is.
It
Because
doesn't matter. Why?
No,
What does that matter?
because
you're
what matters is babies conceived in don't get less human rights just because they were conceived in a nasty, ugly, evil way. Human rights apply to all people.
You're talking about a person versus an unborn fetus.
Oh, so what's the difference between an unborn
God.
baby and a person? What is the moral difference?
Well, one is living and breathing.
Well, how is the baby not living in utero? It has a heartbeat.
It would not live without the woman.
Hold on, but my 6-month-old baby won't live without my mom. It won't go hunt and gather for itself. My 10-month-old baby won't hunt and gather for itself. So how's that any different than a 2-month in utero?
It doesn't matter.
Well, hold on. No, answer the question. Answer the question. You used a degree of dependency argument.
Right. Have more rights.
No, I
than
don't. I
the
think
women
that
who
all
has been
human
raped.
beings have rights
Yeah.
because they're made
Probably
in the
because you
image of
voted for a
God,
rapist.
and every human being has a right to life and not the right to be exterminated or extinguished.
Every human
just
being
because.
has the right to life. You just said
Correct.
you're pro-death penalty. What the fuck are you talking
Okay,
about?
so, all right, so let.
It can't be both.
Okay, yes, it can. So
Wow, so some lives are more important than others. That's what you're saying?
What did the person that was on death penalty to get that punishment?
It depends on the crime.
They killed somebody. So
no, that's not
if
always
you
true.
kill
It depends on
somebody,
the
then your
crime.
life should be taken
That's
from.
not true.
Well,
it's dependent on the crime.
Hold on a second. Show me an instance of somebody who got the death penalty in America.
Don't burden me with the responsibility of educating you.
Show me an instance of somebody who got the death penalty in America the last 30 years that did not commit a capital offense.
I don't need to.
It does not exist. So therefore, a baby in utero did not go kill somebody. Somebody on death row killed somebody.
Yeah,
Are you smart enough or
the
educated enough to see the difference between a baby in utero who did nothing wrong or someone that shut up a school?
Forget the
Do
baby.
you see
the
moral
problem
difference?
is women having control over their own body.
I agree.
That's the
so
issue.
I actually agree. In fact, I agree so much that unborn.
Yeah, especially when you get.
I agree so much that unborn girls in the womb should not be killed because their body should also be respected.
So, question. Could you see that guy shooting Charlie Kirk?
In that instance, I probably could see it. But it's hard to say when you're in heated debate. Because that's usually what causes a lot of murders and a lot of crime or violence is emotional distress. It's not just I'm walking up to somebody and I want to be violent. Like it's heated. A lot of it's going to be domestic. We already got some type of relationship or acquaintance with one another.
Yeah.
That's what makes the issue go left. You don't see no stranger walking in no Walmart or mall just picking fights like that. It's always going to be some type of prior relationship or acquaintance that's going to strike a violent, encounter.
Yeah, I think seeing how he's just cussing at him, hollering at him, not answering questions, came with that to be with a bullhorn. It just looks to me as if he was trying to be disruptive. And
I
to
think
know
he was
that
passionate.
Yeah, he was passionate. But it looks to be more disruptive because you got a mic, and like he said, if you watch the earlier clip, because this clip is 20 minutes long, I just cut that little part, and it's a 20-minute debate with them, and they going back and forth. He answered none of the questions, and like Charlie Kirk said, like it's an order to things out here. But you came out here with a bullhorn to be disruptive, and the guy that's behind you basically was going to ask the question first, and you jumped ahead of him, and we let you do it because you got a bullhorn being disruptive. So if you out here being disruptive and shit like that, then it shows that you got an issue, and the stuff that you got an issue about to me ain't even that big of a deal. You talking about abortion? That's something you ain't gonna even go through. You're not gonna even have to have an abortion.
I get that, but I don't really look at the message because his points were quite valid. How can you be pro death penalty but anti-abortion, and then doing this rigmarole workaround and saying, well, how can you tell if somebody is a rape ultrasound or consensual loving relationship ultrasound?
Mm-hmm.
I can bet if you was to poll everybody out there, it'll be less than 3% that will be rape babies out there, because
probably less than that.
It's a trauma journey to get here.
Mm-hmm.
And we know fatherless home plays a lack of resources plays a role. There's not a million roles from the concrete story. That's why it's called a rose from the concrete. It's very rare that somebody can come out of a traumatic situation. And I'm not pro-abortion. I'm just, for the sake of the argument, when he said I'm pro-death penalty but anti-abortion, it's kind of you picking and choosing who lives or die. So that's inconsistent. But when you get those type of pushback, because he wouldn't have got on that mic if he wasn't passionate about the subject matter anyway.
Right.
If they was talking about anything else, you think he would have got up there? Probably not. So Charlie Kirk knows, and the organization that sets these up knows the crowd that they're going to be engaged in is going to be highly emotional.
Yeah.
So, but again, he's free to believe whatever he believes. That's why I'm like, if he do believe that, it's no scenario which I'm finna walk up to a mic and debate a person I don't have a personal relationship with or any relationship with in public just because they have a differing opinion.
Yeah.
It's not that serious to me, because what is my opinion or your opinion gonna do in the real realities of those affected by the ones who are raped or the ones who are born from it? My opinion nor his opinion is gonna impact that.
Right.
So, but
I want to talk about this because people are really using his death as opportunity to talk out their asses. I hate when people say this when it comes to public figures being killed or anything in the media, and the reason being because y'all don't never go to other media platforms, bigger platforms like news stations and these other platforms and talk bad about them. It's always somebody that got an issue with something that you want to say, and we are going to use it as an opportunity. This is the most buzzing thing on the internet right now. Why wouldn't you talk about this? And somebody asked, are we talking about Charlie Kirk being racist? We're talking about a whole bunch of things today about when it comes to Charlie Kirk. And yes, we're going to get into the racism and the DEI later on. So that's why we're talking about everything. We got a bunch of clips today that we're going to be playing from Charlie Kirk that is circulating the internet today, because I see a lot of people in the comment section defending Charlie Kirk and don't even know our takes on how we feel about Charlie Kirk today. If we think he's a racist or not. Y'all need to just sit back and enjoy the show. I think people jumping out their chair to defend someone that they personally did not know is crazy as fuck.
And what I said, Charlie Kirk mentioned something. I said I agree with a lot of philosophy that Charlie Kirk believed in or used. And when he said, we talk offline, I said, how many times have you seen people debate? And we had plenty of debates. We don't always agree. And I said, I went back and we looked at it and I stand corrected. I said, how many times people come into debates and say, you know what? I learned something from you today. I'm going to use that and further my education, because I thought I knew more than what I did, but I found that I didn't. So these people in the comments, like I said, this is not a bash, or this is pure observation and objective opinion based on what people believe is racist or what people believe to be not racist. Now, the issue is, people are using the small piece of the puzzle, which is, should we be celebrating someone's death?
Right.
That's not what this conversation is about. It is not that. This is, you got freedom of speech in here, because if something that you didn't like or felt passionate about and you was able to get on your page or platform and speak about it, we can, and so many others can. That's why we love this country so much, because it gives you the liberty to do that. So you can't pick and say, well, we shouldn't be talking about it. You don't know how passionate about this conversation. And just like we don't know you're passionate about whatever you would like to speak about.
And if you're a person that's supporting Charlie Kirk, He was pro free speech. So he would be talking about anything. He talked about George Floyd death.
Yeah.
So we can't talk about Charlie Kirk there. He should have been talking about George Floyd there. So this is what we got to keep it fair across the board about all of this shit that we talking about. And it just, like I said, it pissed me off that people can get on the internet and say wild shit when the person in question said wild shit about other people too, even about George Floyd death. And I know y'all gonna say George Floyd was this, George Floyd was that, but at the end of the day, it was about a person's death that was killed wrong. George Floyd should still be here today because nobody should have put their damn knee on somebody's neck for damn 8 minutes. I don't give a fuck how y'all feel about that. Yeah. George Floyd should still be here today. Y'all want to blame fentanyl, all this other shit on George Floyd, him being high as a kite, doped up, all this shit. We don't fucking know. What we do know is we see a knee on somebody's fucking neck, right?
And the elephant in the room is also because I can bet a lot of our commenters, because it's very rare we get this type of engagement early on.
It's because of the thumbnail.
Yeah, the thumbnail, and I can say they may be white, Caucasian, or whatever. There is a secret or a unspoken rule that I see a lot of white men or white people have, whether it's men or women, that we should be inferior or should not have the freedom to say what we say or the platforms to speak about what we speak about. You think you get to dictate what type of opinions we have on certain subject matter, and that's not ever going to be the case.
Right.
But you can look at the news and you will listen to the news every day and they feeding you lies. You won't be on Piers Morgan in the comments saying the stuff you're saying in our comments. You won't be on, what's the other guy name? Joe Rogan. You won't be in Joe Rogan comments saying the stuff you saying in our comments because you think they're qualified because they have or share the same complexion as you do. So we know that is a thing. So just like he can create a platform and give his beliefs and use stats to create and pad his narrative, we can do the same on this platform.
And I agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly. We just need to clear the air. If you're watching, like I said, we got plenty of clips today. Sit back, enjoy the show, give us your opinion, but don't tell us what we can and can't do. We men sitting here right here. So we can talk about what the fuck we want to talk about. And I don't care if whoever it died, I don't care their race, their religion, their creed, what country they from. We talk about a lot of stuff on the New Normal podcast. So if you're new here, y'all should subscribe because we have a lot of great content for y'all. But I just want to address what people are in the comments telling us what we can and cannot say, if it's fake or not. All of this shit, we talking about a plethora of things when it comes to Charlie Kirk, because once again, this is all that we have been seeing on the internet the last week.
And the people in the comments, y'all, we didn't see y'all in the comments on our video when we were talking about the importance of family, the importance of saving Black boys and taking them out of environments that create dangerous and violent circumstances. We didn't see y'all in those comments, but it's mighty funny we see y'all in this video. It's mighty funny. When we talk about protecting the Black woman and protecting children, which we have a lot of content about protecting children and abandoning, kidnapped children that go missing. You're talking almost to 400,000 a year. We have never seen these names in those comments of those videos. Right. How ironic is that?
A said it's always got to be about race. It's always got to be about colors anyway, whether it's the color of your skin or the color of what side you voted for. It's always about color.
That is true. This is divisional tactic. So instead of giving your take, because your take is, don't wait. If we put my opinion on a scale and your opinion on the scale, it's going to weigh the same. But you think yours weigh more. That's the issue.
That's the sad reality. And like I said, we got to stop this where we can and cannot speak on certain things. And this goes back to the killer killing Charlie Kirk. It should not be a time where someone come on the campus having conversations with people where he can't voice his opinion and someone thinks, I'm going to take this person's life because I don't agree. When he's sitting there letting you be able to debate him, and this person can say what he want to say, how he want to say, cuss at him, and be inflammatory, be disrespectful. And in the beginning of that video, Charlie Kirk asked him, can you please not cuss, because we got children out here? And the dude still was cussing and still mad.
Keep it respectful. Like, no one deserves to die for their opinion, but this is what the understanding is. And I think it's an intentional understanding to create whatever narrative that they want to continue to run with, to make it seem like we're just violent, we're celebrating his death. That's not this platform. We don't celebrate anyone's death that didn't deserve it. Just because you had an opinion doesn't mean you deserve to die. But a lot of people are intentionally trying to make our take, use this thumbnail and anything you can find in regards to this production today as a way to make us appear that we're trying to get clout or celebrate this man's death. That's not what's taking place today.
Pablo said, "What do you guys think he was a? What do you guys think he was a martyr?" I just came in to lie. No, we're not saying that he's a martyr or anything. We're just having conversation because
it's a question mark on the thumbnail. That means it's a question. It's not a statement. So when you see a question mark behind something, it says racist or martyr. Which one is he perceived to be? It doesn't say what we're saying he is. It's a question. So some people will say he's a martyr. Some people will say he's a racist messenger. People are going to say he's a bunch of different things that is not in the thumbnail. So what specifically saying, do you feel he's a racist or a martyr? Do you think he was sent here to provide a positive message? From what I can see, he was married. No baby mamas, no violence on his records. He was an upstanding citizen from what I can see. So just because he said something that I may not agree with, don't mean I have a problem with him. I'm indifferent.
So Pablo said he want to know our opinion. So what is your opinion? You think Charlie Kirk is a martyr?
To some, yes. Me personally, I think he was just another guy with an opinion and a popular platform. No different than a lot of the other people that are in media. But I would have to look at the actions outside of a camera and microphone. That's how I judge a person by his work. What can I go out and touch, walk into, download, whether that's books, literature, what kind of classes, what kind of programs have you set in place to combat the things that you have a problem with, such as the Black community and single parent homes? Okay, we got these so much problem with it. What is the solutions to it? What solutions have you provided? What outlets and resources have you provided to combat the issue? If you ain't provided no solutions, things to that, then you just a motherfucker with an opinion.
I don't think he was a martyr. Not for me. I'm gonna say this. I had a daddy. I don't need a person that's on the internet speaking his opinion, telling me what we should and should not do. My parents were married. Me and my brother grew up in a 2-parent household. I know that's contrary to what a lot of people like to believe about the Black community. So when we have these conversations, I don't need Charlie Kirk to be my martyr. I don't even believe in the Black leader, because everybody know one of my talking points is if they claim to be Black power, they come in to scam your ass, just like a Dr. Umar. So when we have these type of conversations, they got to be more well-rounded. And I like that we having these type of conversations because we get to voice our opinion like everybody else does. But like I said, I don't think he was a martyr. Not for me. I had a father in my life. This is a person that I looked up. And like I said, and I'm gonna ask you something, Pablo. Before we got started, I don't know your race. Who do you think worse, the NBA YoungBoy or Charlie Kirk for the Black community? That's a question for you.
Yeah. Or is Nick Fuentes equivalent to a Charlie Kirk? Do you compare Nick Fuentes? We can throw him in there. But yeah, these platforms are very biased, as we know, to certain information. A lot of our stuff gets pushed down in the algorithm when we're talking about certain stuff, so you may not even see it. But him being a racist or a martyr is subjective to the person listening to and being fully aware of all of his rhetoric. Because I can't see 2 clips and say he this, he that. I need to see all of his bodies of work.
Yeah, I don't like.
We got to look at the whole pie. We can't just look at this one slice and say, "Up here, racist." He said, "I don't like Juneteenth." Oh, okay, what else he said? What is his full message? What is his full body of work? Now, when I see a consistent pattern, I can say, "Okay, you know what? It look a little racist to me," because it seems like this is a focal point of your commentary. So, if I have a focal point, I mean I have a passion to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the purpose and the resources and my action behind that purpose?
And that's what I want to talk about. People get on the internet and talk about the issues. It don't matter if it's Black issues, white issues, molestation in the white community, killing in the Black community. It don't matter what it is. I see a lot of people that have these big followings that they never seem to put any money behind it. They never seem to put any, we don't see them actually in the street. Like being on campus is one thing. And I think being on campus, you think that's a safer place to be. Mm-hmm. But to actually say, oh, well, Black on Black crime is this and single mother hood is this. But then we never see you in the hood giving back. We never see you at toy drives or Thanksgiving throwing turkeys out. We don't see you feeding and clothing the Black people that you claim to be growing up in poverty. If this is just a talking point, you just padding your pockets at the end of the day, because you know the emotions of Black people is like liquid oil. You know it's gonna get you eyes and eyeballs. You know you're gonna have your racist people to still come, amen, brother, and do all that type of shit to still put money in your pocket. And that's what a lot of these things is when people are having these type of conversations. It really is just to pad your pocket. It ain't really to change nothing. It ain't really to help people. It ain't really to change nobody's life. It's a lot of this shit is just a money scheme, and you figure out what is inflammatory to get people emotions riled up. Because one thing I noticed, especially by doing a podcast myself, people will hate watch you. People will fucking hate watch you. And that's why we have so many people celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, because when I get on like TikTok and I seen like even the black women talking about what Charlie Kirk said, I'm like, y'all watch Charlie Kirk this much? Y'all can just, he said this, and I'm like, if he racist, why are you watching him like this?
That's right.
That was crazy. If Charlie Kirk that much of a racist, why are you watching him to know his points verbatim and can spit them out and be accurate? Like it's like literally reciting a quote that he said verbatim. So it's weird that y'all can say somebody racist and still indulge in that content. But like I said, even doing this type of media and podcasts, I understand that a lot of people will fucking hate watch you.
And like I said, you're watching two decorated individuals. I wouldn't just not people on the internet. I mentor a big brother, big sister in college, and I'm also part of a mentor organization now, which we touch hundreds of students, black boys to be specific, middle school to adolescent black boys. So you're not just watching two people on no camera that just talking shit. We are boots on the ground. We got the resume. We've been doing it 10 plus years, almost 10 years. So that's the difference between myself and whoever is in the comments with all this to say. You don't have a track record or any knowledge base that you're speaking about. You're just responding to something that you didn't like. Again, the people in the comments, we didn't see you. We were talking about
Right.
the trafficking kids, the kids that caught up in these sex rings, the kids that go missing. Y'all were not in those comments.
Correct.
So, but again, like said,
Pablo said, I think we shouldn't look at someone's color of their skin, but instead look at the actions and their character and opinions. Your character is what defines you, not your skin color. I'm a proud Hispanic.
Shout out to you. Who else we got in the comments? I seen a lot of comments.
There's a lot on they going today.
Yeah, shout out for y'all tuning in. This is the reason why we wanted to talk about this, because we notice when something is meant to divide, it just brings us together. It may not be on common or what's the word I want to say, amicable, if that's a word, or happy grounds, but it does bring us together for the conversation. Now, it's just up to you if you want to be open to the different perspectives that's going to be presented. But Charlie Kirk said some things I didn't agree with. He said some things I did agree with, but it's not my job to give him a label. I just don't care enough, because if I say he's a racist, then what? Right. Nothing changes. If I say he's a martyr, then what? Nothing really changes. But what we do know is true leaders and heroes have bodies of work that you can go and touch and see, not a bunch of video clips on the internet. And that goes for anyone, despite the race.
I agree. So the next thing we're going to get into is Charleston White. Now, I don't know if y'all know who Charleston White is, but Charleston White said some crazy shit in the death of Charlie Kirk. And we're finna play that video, and we're finna get y'all take on what
this is when he cussing a lot on it.
He ain't cussing. Well, I don't know. It's just a couple of.
If viewer discretion advised, if you got kids in the room, get them out. You may have some adult language being used in these clips, so we just want to put that out there as well. For those who are listening who may have children in the room, you know, there's going to be some profanity used in this stream and in some of the comment and the videos that we use and we react to. All right, let's go.
Charlie talked all of that shit about black people violence, black people this. And guess who popped his fucking top? Guess who put a fucking tag on Charlie's toe? A fucking conservative white fucking kid. A Grand Theft Auto playing motherfucker. A Call of Duty playing motherfucker. Shot him. You know why? Because you're fucking children, Charlie. And I want you to hear me good, Charlie. Your fucking children are fucking trained killers. You know why? Charlie, they're not buying your fucking rhetoric. They're rejecting your rhetoric. You know why? They fucking like NBA Youngboy. They fucking like LeBron James. They like Kanye West. They like Stephen Curry. They don't want to fucking hear your shit about how violent niggas are, and they're trying to figure out how to make it amongst white children, and white children are bullying them. They're shooting up your fucking schools, Kirky boy. But you're worried about the niggers doing drive-by shooting, pulling up on each other blocks. Well, guess what, Charlie Kirky boy? They're not pulling up on suburban blocks. They're shooting up inner city hood blocks. So why the fuck you got your long white nose and those nigger business? And look what you got killed by, Charlie. Your own fucking kind. Had you been minding your business, you know what? Had you went back over there and had more debates with the niggers, you'd still be alive. You know why? Not one nigger hit you across your head, Charlie, for talking against their nigger ancestors. Not one nigger threw a rock at you, Charlie. Not one nigger did shit to you, Charlie. But guess who got something to you? Little white boy. 22-year-old cracker, pink-toed Peckerwood that shot you from quite a distance. You know why? You know why he didn't shoot so good, but he shot so good? The same fucking shit that they're using for our military, Charlie. I'm talking to you like you're here, Charlie. If you could hear me, I'm telling you, we would agree with each other. And they tell me all the time, if you could have met Charlie, you and Charlie said the same shit. Maybe so. We didn't get to meet Charlie, so I get to talk to you since you're dead. Yeah, I would have loved to have met you before now, Charlie. I didn't know shit about you. I wish somebody would have told me about Charlie before he died, so you and I could have had an uncivilized debate. Because I would have debated your cracker ass to your fucking cracker ass cracker. I'm telling you, fucking cracker. But listen, let me tell you something, Charlie. You know why that kid shot you and why he shot you so good? He's been playing Call of Duty.
So y'all put in the comment section, how do y'all feel about Charleston White and what he said? Now, Charleston White is a man that's known to say inflammatory stuff all of the time. He even, when I got on to who Charleston White was, he was saying that he was, raping white women. That's when
he said a lot of wild stuff.
Yeah, he said a lot of wild stuff, and even a correction, even he said conservative. The guy that we played earlier was the guy that had killed him, Charlie Kirk. Allegedly. Well, we put allegedly. I don't need nobody trying to come back and sue, get my little coins there. I do get out the podcast, but allegedly. So I just want to put that out there that he always say some wild shit. And him saying conservative, this young boy, he wasn't a conservative, he was left-leaning. They say he's supposed to be associated with like the furry community, trans community, all of these wild and crazy delusional community that me and Chris, none of us actually agree with. So I'm just gonna put that out there. We don't agree with any of those communities. We both, I'm speaking for both of us, but I think we both agree that they're kind of delusional, and we need to make straight jackets great again. That's my motto. That's my saying. We need to make straight jackets great again, because we have a lot of loony people walking the earth. How you feel about what Charleston White did?
Like I said, Charleston White, I agree with a lot of stuff he say. I disagree with a lot of stuff he say. That's why I say I never look to agree with everybody, because true leaders don't really create followers, they create more leaders. A leader really doesn't want to lead you. We want to create you or build you up enough so you can lead yourself. That's what I believe in, because it's too much task to babysit. I'd rather make a leader out of you so I ain't got to lead you.
Right.
So I'm going to lead the mission, but not you.
Right.
If you're a part of the mission, yes. But what Charlie said, Charleston White, I think it has a lot of truth to it, as far as him saying who he was unalived by, which was somebody who looks like him. I've even seen people try to spin the conversation to where they try to blame black women, because I guess they're using a guy who was speaking to women's rights as the gunman. But this has nothing to do with the black community. If you really think about it, we really shouldn't even be a part of the conversation
at all. That's what I don't get.
Even though he used black stats and black plights that we all know exist. We all know these plights exist: single mother, poverty, violence. We know this is a thing, but this is where it gets sticking. Me and Sid talked about this before. If you trace back, let's go with the narratives that black men are very violent, to where they, we commit 50% of the murders, etc. You're talking at most this goes back to the late 70s, mid 70s, where you had this uptick in violence, and that was due to the drug and welfare systems coming into place, dividing the house. So now it's a scramble for resources. So in the late 80s, early 90s is when you saw black homicides increase in spike. So at most, you got a 40-year block where you got this uncontrolled black violence. When you look at the Caucasian male race, you got 45 centuries of bloody campaigns, the Trail of Tears, the Christian Crusades, the transatlantic and the trans-African slave trades, all were bloody campaigns. They date back centuries. So you can't talk about me doing something in 40 years, but not mention anything that your people have done, which Charleston White mentioned, which is the school shooter epidemic that nobody want to make an epidemic.
Right. I seen a post today, or maybe yesterday, I seen a post, and it was a true post. It said, when are we going to hold white women accountable for raising school shooters like we hold black women accountable for raising thugs and the gangsters and the drive-by shootings? And that's something that got to be talked about and addressed too. And a lot of these kids come from two-parent households.
Yep. And that's why we talk about the whole gamut. It's not just one side. We talk about everything that is the black community, the society, everything. So that's what the issue is in my eyes. When you have somebody honing in on this issue that is 40 years old, but you're not addressing an issue that you have created, which is centuries old. Centuries. I think Leopold, which is European white male, is attributed to either
20 million.
20 million Africans.
Yep.
The death of 20 million Africans. Not one, no post, no platform, no podcast I've ever seen with white men on there saying Leopold was wrong for unaliving 20 million Africans. You don't see that. So that's what makes the issue sticky, because it's like saying, hey, why are you so focused on us without providing resources or any, action to correct what you have a problem with, but you don't have a problem with the missing children, your child rapists, your child pornographers, up into the thousands, hundreds of thousands. You don't have nothing to say about that. But you talking about Man and Poo Poo killing each other on O Block. It don't sound right.
And the thing about it is, this person said every race has been slaves at some point. Do some research. That's not even the thing that we're talking about, who's been slaves and who hasn't been slaves. The idea of you want to talk about black violence is an issue when we got years, decades, well, we got centuries long of Christian crusades and all of these type of things that we could just go back to World War I, World War II. You got to think black men weren't even allowed to fight in the world wars, I think, until World War II, wasn't it?
You had black men fighting Vietnam. We had no business in Vietnam.
Right.
Y'all, nobody in this thread can explain why black men was in the military fighting motherfuckers in Vietnam.
Yeah.
You can't get not one reason or one valid reason why we was over there. So this goes to show your propensity for violence. You will send us who have no acquaintance, no introduction, no relationship with some motherfuckers in Vietnam. But y'all need to go over there and kill them. For what? You talking, y'all have shown so much violence to where animals are now extinct and in zoos due to your leisure and just your propensity to hunt. Y'all made certain animals go extinct. You know what type of level of violence you have to inflict on a species to make a animal go extinct?
Rhinos.
But you want to talk about black on black crime? You made an animal go extinct. Several different animals, because you can't stop killing them. So you can't talk to us about no black on black violence and crime when all the stuff you do is centered around crime. Even what we do, where we got drugs from? We didn't have boats in the 70s to go to Nicaragua. We didn't have access to guns like we do until we came in contact with y'all. So don't try to make this one-sided narrative and talk about everybody was slaves. No, there wasn't. Nobody had a slave experience like the African American here in this land. And that is outside of Brazil, South America, and in the Middle East, the Dubai area, you had a lot of that going on. You still even got some of that going on today in Libya.
Right, Libya, yep.
You still got that going on today. You don't have no history with black men or the black race enslaved another race. You don't have no history of that.
But back to Charleston White, I think he was opportunist, like most people are, to capitalize off something probably to go viral, but I do think that it is ironic for Charlie Kirk to talk about black on black violence as much as he did, single mother households and all of this type of stuff. And the person that killed you is a 22-year-old white boy in Utah, knowing ain't no niggas in Utah, coming from a 2-parent household. But he did carry leftist ideologies, and we're starting to see that a lot of these leftist ideologies, especially the people that shoot up schools, identify as trans. And you're going to start seeing a lot more of that because these people are just loony. These people really are loony. These people are crazy, and we just feed into it. That's why I say we need to make straight jackets great again. But you can't address mental illness because then you have to address a lot of the homosexual stuff that they're trying to push, a lot of the pedophilic stuff they're trying to push, a lot of this stuff that they cannot address in American society because of stuff, the other agendas that they're trying to push. I keep telling y'all this: America is running perfectly. And America is running how it's supposed to run. So even the crime that you're seeing in the black communities, or school shooters, or mass shooters, or people just walking around and blowing themselves up or shooting things up, that's how America is supposed to run. America runs on crime.
Duncan.
It does. America runs on these type of things. It is a fuel to the fire. And a lot of people got to understand, if you want a better America, you just really have to take care of yourself and your neighborhood and things that you can control. That's the way I met with it.
And again, going back to media, because we just had another trans shooter in Minnesota, right?
Yep.
While that headline was in there for like 2 days.
Yep.
I can remember that was no national headline that just ran.
When they
like
found out it was trans, they got that shit.
They got that out the headlines.
Yep.
Got a mass shooter in Minnesota, white male, or white trans or white community member. You only saw that in the headlines 2 days. You see this every you can't get on the internet and not see something about Charlie Kirk.
Right.
But you got a trans shooter in Minnesota who didn't get none of the spotlight Charlie Kirk is getting just for his speech, whether it's good or bad, whether it's from the white, Hispanic, or black community. We did not give this much attention to this school shooter. And I want to say some other children got unalived the same day, right? For praying or something.
Right.
Where's the attention on those?
Ozzy, we got to tell you this. It says no matter what he did, no matter what, he didn't deserve to die. Shut the fuck up, cornball. Bruh, you have not been here. Because did we say a bunch of times that we do not condone shooting? We're not rejoicing in Charlie Kirk's death or any of that shit. Y'all are just coming in here because y'all are triggered just like the nigga that killed Charlie Kirk. Y'all are explaining and exhibiting the same type of rage and I guess hurt feelings as the dude that went and shot Charlie Kirk up.
And like I said, I noticed a lot of that. If I say 5 lines, y'all try to make sure you focus on the line that fits your narrative.
Right.
That's why they mentioned the stuff about slavery. That wasn't even the point of my statement. I just used that as an example. We're not celebrating anybody's death. No one deserves to die. But you must understand, many have died for their speech. Many. So there has to be some type of understanding or assessment that, hey, that means if I do that, this could happen. You mean to tell me this your first time, or this you're just now coming into that understanding? We have so many people before him who have also died for their speech and for their beliefs. Right. JFK, he didn't want to, it was secondary education. It was a lot of stuff with JFK's assassination. Certain stuff he did not believe in, which was why he was assassinated. Martin Luther King, certain stuff he believed in, which is why he was assassinated. Malcolm X, so many people have died for their speech and opinions and beliefs. This is nothing new. So to say that is an asinine statement. You must know when you do something, there's a cause and effect.
Right.
This what comes with that type of bold rhetoric. We're not celebrating it. We're just bringing it to the light. Hey, for future reference, for those future martyrs or would-be martyrs, if you want to get in grandstand and get on stage with your beliefs, understand your life could be at risk, or your loved one's lives could be at risk for your statement and for your beliefs. That's just something that comes with it.
Come with the territory.
What else you said? What is it?
The truth gets you killed.
Yeah, every time.
So I'm gonna say this. When you go out there and you speak and you know you're going to be in front of people and you know you're doing, like I said, Charlie Kirk and anybody that takes on these positions aren't dumb, right? So they know what's going to happen. They know what kind of emotions they're going to invoke. They know what type of keywords. They take classes on speech and rhetoric. They study algorithms. They know what is going to get the, people, like they say, is what the saying from Seinfeld, gets the people going.
Oh yeah.
It's provocative. They know
Provocative.
the things that are provocative that get people going. So when we see these type of things, you got to understand it's a reason why they'll go and shoot a Charlie Kirk in front of thousands of people like this. And the reason being because I said this the other day. You just made 300 people say, fuck this. I just seen Charlie Kirk get his shit, pushed back. I'm not finna go out here and get on a podcast and speak my mind because I'm worried about that happening to me. Yeah. See, these are tactics to kind of call the speech and call the rhetoric so nobody else won't pop their head up to thinking they gonna take Charlie Kirk's spot or say that the same things that Charlie Kirk said are doing it in the manner on the campus like Charlie Kirk did. When you kill people in certain manners, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King speaking out in front of people and getting killed. Like you don't want those same type of people to be bold enough to do it, and that's why you kill people like this in front of thousands of people to make people say, hey, I ain't finna do this. I'm not finna step out here. I'm not finna say none of this shit because I'm worried about my life as well. So I'm not going to put myself in that position. I got a family. I got kids. I got loved ones. I don't want to deal with this shit. So you got a lot of people that pack their goddamn podcast equipment up and put their phones up the same day Charlie Kirk got killed. So it just is what it is.
It's definitely that impact. You're never going to see a top or a high profile guy or any person who has a platform and a message and a following be unalive with a single party. So always look at these reports that they're putting out where this is the shooter, this, that. So quickly, they have to do that because somebody has to be the fall guy. The true culprits, when you look at JFK, Martin Luther King, when they did the back research, they had the CIA involved. You had COINTELPRO. You had a bunch of different organizations working in tandem to carry out this execution. Because that's what that is. So when take him out of it, put a Muslim person on there with strict Muslim beliefs, they would have gave him the same treatment.
Right.
Because they cannot have anyone developing a following because you will have what happened on January 6th, that they don't want to stop talking about this insurgents. You're going to create emotional people. People are going to get passionate and people are going to start acting on those emotions. That's why these are public. This is not no single person act where they was able to, that's not the case. Ever. You're not going to see high profile men being taken out by a yuppie or a fish. It's bigger than that.
So the next thing we're going to talk about is people getting fired for celebrating Charlie Kirk's death.
Which is crazy.
That's crazy shit. So let's play this video right here.
Today's apparently my last day. They just fired me, terminated me because they see my videos, man. Look. They gave me a letter of termination. Letter of termination, man. I was a bad representation of the organization, and I'm no longer here, man. This is look at this shit. Y'all gotta see this shit. They really, oh my goodness, man. I can't believe this shit.
So watching that, do you think people should be fired for what they post on the internet, especially celebrating someone's death?
Yep. Because when I can guarantee when you do onboarding at any job, they give you policies. A lot of us, most people are not going to read all that fine print, but I'm sure there's going to be some type of fine print in there, say, your social media, because a lot of times that's determined if you even get the job.
Right.
They go to your social media, do a full background check because I need to know who I'm hiring.
Right.
You come in here painted all nice, but I see you on social media with all this inflammatory and derogatory commentary or dispositions on people, which may be the very people that I sit you next to in your cubicle.
Right.
So why would I see you on Facebook talking about you hate black people and I end up seeing you right next to one in the office?
Right.
Now I created a hostile work environment. So absolutely, if you are working for somebody, you are subject to their will and the policies they set in place. And once you sign off on that, you gonna uphold your end of the contract or you're gonna get terminated. Now, this is the caveat. It should, because they give you a certain list. They say don't discuss politics, religion, and
probably sexuality, maybe,
and pay.
And pay.
And pay, which are, so I always look at the caveat or just that nuance to say, well, why are these three things so high? Well, what about this, this, and this? So I can talk, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the lower three that you're telling me that you did mention can also ignite emotions in disarray in here. If we speak about how my baby look or children being, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I would ask why these the only 3 things are y'all focusing on when it's so many other issues that if they would have come to a discussion in the office could create a hostile work environment. So that's all I do when I look at that little gray area. But once you sign that policy, guidelines, the code of conduct and read it, then you're going to be held to that standard.
See, I have a difference of opinion. Like I'm like 50-50. I think people should be fired for, but I think people shouldn't. And then I think about like, okay, so let's say I'm not posting on Facebook, right? But let's say I'm out and I'm belligerently drunk and my boss see me. Let's say I get into like let's see I'm drunk and he see me get to a fight and it just broke up, but I don't get any charges. I don't miss no work or nothing like that. Should he be able to fire me for that too?
Nah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, I think it's like a slippery slope because I think most people use Facebook as a time to, social media as a time to like cut loose, be a different persona,
be who they really are,
who they really are, or even
who they're really not.
Yeah, twofold. You can be who you are and who you're not. Like it's a place where some people use it as an escape, and I think another thing with social media, when I get a job too, I don't want you retroactively looking back at something I posted in 2011 and I'm not the same motherfucker from 2011. You get what I'm saying? I don't want a memory to come up like, damn, I wanted my employer to see this. Yeah. Because now I'm worried about getting fired because some old posts that I had from back in the day, and it could be something crazy.
Now that's why I say it's because business is a science. You create the demand, you got the market, you create an experience that keep people retaining and coming back. So let's say if I work, because it's always about visibility. Is my customer base going to be directly affected by the visibility of this person who may have caused some issues? Let's say a Chick-fil-A representative, they all happy-go-lucky. Most Chick-fil-A customers come, they repeat. It's not going to be a lot of new ones. They come to Chick-fil-A every morning. So you start developing rapport. But I go on Facebook and see how this person serving me my coffee look. Oh, I hate Indians. I hate Chinese. Woo, woo, woo. I could probably think that they might do something to my drink, but smiling in my face. Yeah. So I look. That's also the nuance. Am I directly working with customers and clients versus am I doing a skill? So I think it would be different. I think it'd be service-based, customer service-based versus skill set. Let's say I'm a welder and I say some things. What I'm saying is not going to impact no customer. Right. Because I'm providing a skill set and doing a job for you. Yeah. I'm not interacting with your customers direct. So I think it should be different regulations from that perspective because don't nobody see me in this motherfucking workshop. Right. Nobody. But I see you at Chick-fil-A handing me this coffee and biscuit. And I look at the internet and you smiling in my face, but on the internet, you saying you don't like me. Right. So what did you do to my food? Or you don't like people that look like me. So I think it's a slippery slope with it.
Yeah, I think it's a slippery slope. And like I said, I agree. I think, like I said, I'm 50-50. I can agree with what you said. And even with the welder, or if I got something where I ain't finna be around people that ain't serving people, like I said, face forward. And when it comes face forward in job where people are coming in, to the job and I got to greet them or serve them or wait on their table or something like that, that makes sense why, you'll be like that. Or if I'm in a call center, I'm working around hundreds of people a day. And I got to sit next to Becky Sue and she a Trump supporter and she talking about Trump and I get on here and talk about I hate Trump or whatever. I'm just using that as an example. That might be contentious in the work environment as well. So it's a lot of stuff that goes on that you just got to be mindful of.
We're going to get into some of these comments. Let's role play before we get into the next clip. We got another clip?
Yeah, I got one more clip.
Let's role play.
Go ahead.
You go to Chick-fil-A every morning on Lakeshore. You start being poor. You see some people around your age demographics, whether it's managers, servers, or whatever. Hey, what's going on, Cedric? Yeah. And you come across their Facebook page. I hate motherfucking big black dudes with beards and this, that, and the third. I hate them. I can't stand them. I wish they all die. And you go in there and see the person that wrote that. How confident are you them handing you your biscuit and orange juice? Are you gonna take it and be like, hey, are you gonna keep it the same before you saw the post? This is not one post. It's a bunch of different posts, which is of the same quality and kind. I hate N-words. I hate serving them. I don't like being around them, etc. Would you feel confident them handing you your breakfast every morning?
I'm going to say this. Yes and no. And I'm going to explain why. If I'm in the drive-thru and they give it to me, I ain't gonna feel that confident because I didn't see they made it. I ain't see what the exchange was. But let's out in the store.
Okay.
And they somebody makes the food and somebody bags it up, but they bring it out, or they put it on a tray and they just bring it out to me. But they nice, they pleasant, all that, because I understand this too, that some people do take their job serious. You can hate people, but then understand, hey, this is how I make my living. My way of living is more gonna trump how I feel about these motherfuckers a lot of times, because money is a lifeline. I gotta pay the bills, I gotta keep shelter, got to put clothes on, got to be able to keep the lights on, food in my belly. So those type of things gonna trump me having a hate, you get what I'm saying, on you. So sometimes I will feel that way, but it depends on, now if it was different to where you own, let's say you own the company or something, and I find out you did it. Now you got more leeway to really just go back there, do what you want to do, fix my brakes fucked up. Like if I seen you at Express and you have to fix my brakes and you say you don't like niggas, I might be like, it might not put a screw back in this hole like I need to. Or
that's another scenario. That's why I just use the Chick-fil-A. So that's where I can see the owners, the managers saying, hey, you serve our customers and you have visibility. Yeah. We don't want you spewing out certain rhetoric. Our customers are not going to feel confident dealing with you. Yeah. So that's why I say it's a slippery slope with different industries, whether you got customer service or skill and labor over here where you don't deal with customers and clients daily. That'll be a different policy and rule book versus, hey, you gotta serve my customers every day. They just told me, hey, this your employee, he said he hate N-words. I ain't not coming back here. All right, because I don't know if the other three y'all in cahoots, or you see what I'm saying. I don't know if the other three you said, maybe these are classmates, neighborhood, neighbors. I don't know what that look like. So it's not going to give me the confidence to want to continue to patronize you. Right. Because this who you hire to serve people that look like me.
I definitely agree. So the next thing we're going to get into is Charlie Kirk talking about DEI. Now, this is the part where we're trying to see if he was being racist. The reason we're talking about if he was being racist, because he said if he saw a black pilot, well, you know what? I'm going to just let Charlie Kirk tell y'all what he said. Let's play the video.
Last year, you said something about DEI, unqualified black pilots. You see a pilot on a black pilot. Don't you think it was an irresponsible statement suggesting that maybe these pilots aren't qualified or unqualified?
No. But I'll tell you exactly what I said and why I said it.
Okay, go ahead.
I said, the pretext, I went through a whole windup. I said, United Airlines is saying that they want 40% of all their pilots to be people of color or women. We have learned that we have relaxed standards anytime that we try to reach racial quotas. Anytime we reach racial quotas, we relax the standards. Standards for air traffic control, professors, or college admissions. Therefore, when it comes to pilots or surgeons, if I see somebody who is black, as I said on the show, I'm going to hope that person is qualified. That's what I said, which of course is legitimate, because they're begging the question, we're not hiring based on merit anymore. We're hiring based on race. Now, so when you see a black pilot, you wonder, boy, is that person there because they earned it or because they were placed there? That's what DEI does. It makes you ask questions you otherwise would not ask.
So the airline industry is going to take an unqualified person just based off diversity.
Underqualified, not underqualified.
Underqualified, whatever, uncertified, and put them in a cockpit and risk people's lives?
Those are two different things. Under and un are two different things. Of course, United Airlines will not take someone off the side of the street and put them in a pilot. But in order to reach a 40% goal, they might cut corners. They might accelerate the process in order to reach a goal. We know this through all sorts of DEI examinations and projects over the last 10 years.
You said the Civil Rights Act was a mistake. What did you mean by that?
Yeah, so the parts of the Civil Rights Act were great, but the way it's now being implemented to force men in female bathrooms to push forward of the trans agenda, the intent of the Civil Rights Act is way beyond what it was originally authored for.
But the intent specifically originally was to...
Well, that's interesting. So the intent and the law are two different things. So the intent was noble, which was to say that no American can be not allowed into a place of business based on the color of their skin or their ethnic heritage. Totally agreement with that. That's not what the law only did. It created a massive anti-racist DEI army that then gave us affirmative action. For example, recently Merrick Garland sued using the Civil Rights Act, saying that we cannot have voter ID in certain states because it's a violation of the Civil Rights Act. So basically what the Civil Rights Act did is that it went beyond disparate impact and then went to disparate effect. In the sense where if black Americans are not doing as well as white Americans in a certain category, you can now use the Civil Rights Act and say that's a violation.
Pain. So let's just very short clip. Bill Clinton in the 1990s, it was all about empathy and sympathy. I can't stand the word empathy, actually. I think empathy is a made-up New Age term that does a lot of damage, but it is very effective when it comes to politics. Sympathy I prefer more than empathy. That's a separate topic for a different time.
Yep.
You just don't want to face reality that governments tend to get tyrannical, and that if people need an ability to protect themselves and their communities and their families. Now, we must also be real. We must be honest with the population. Having an armed citizenry comes with a price. Wow. And that is part of liberty.
Wow.
Driving comes with a price. 50,000 people die on the road every year. Wow. That's a price. You get rid of driving, you'd have 50,000 less auto fatalities. But we have decided that the benefit of driving, speed, accessibility, mobility, having products, services, is worth the cost of 50,000 people dying on the road. Wow. So we need to be very clear that you're not going to get gun deaths to zero. It will not happen.
Right.
You can significantly reduce them through having more fathers in the home,
yes,
by having more armed guards in front of schools.
Yes.
We should have an honest and clear reductionist view of gun violence, but we should not have a utopian one. You will never live in a society when you have an armed citizenry and you won't have a single gun death. That is nonsense. It's drivel. Wow. But I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year, so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is.
I want to get
why you glad I pulled that one up?
Because again, I'm leaving here with a different perspective based upon what we discussed, some of the commentary, to where I want to make it my duty to make sure I get full context, because what I noticed with a lot of platforms, they tell you how to interpret things.
Yep.
When they said something about civil rights, the black community will automatically assume we're talking about black privileges and black rights and liberties.
Right.
He wasn't speaking about that.
Right.
He was speaking about the DEI and the incentives that it gave for other groups to split off.
And before you go on, hold your thought. Haven't we talked about how they let all them Obama and all them gay motherfuckers come in and use and piggyback civil rights? We heard plenty of our black quote unquote leaders say the same thing.
That's right. He
was just saying that. So that when I hear people say these type of things, I don't know if their comprehension level is off or they don't watch the whole clip. You know what I'm saying? Because I seen a black girl today say, well, he said he didn't want empathy. He said he didn't want empathy, but then if you watch the whole clip, he said he wanted sympathy though. So you got to make up your mind.
It's crazy. And I think once you get triggered, the listening goes off.
Yeah.
That's what I think a lot of times, because again, we got to understand how media works. When you get prolific speakers and platforms like your Charlie Kirk, they have to make certain statements to get your ear.
Right.
But when I got your ear, I elaborate further so you get a full understanding.
Right.
That's why I say you listen to understand, not to respond. A lot of the stuff they're listening to respond, not to truly understand. Because when I heard the civil rights, I said, damn, well, I ain't get a chance to listen to that clip.
Yeah.
So I'm like, he's not talking about the black rights and the black liberties. These are the other groups that benefited more and that was exploited
through the Civil Rights
Act. So I think that was a good clip.
Yeah, it was and that's what I told you, because you was you had said somebody you wanted to play somebody that was quoted, and I kept telling you, I said I don't play quotes because I have actually seen what other platforms that said this is a quote, then you still go look it up. I seen it on the actual news where they said, well, Donald Trump quoted this, and I go back and watch a whole 3-hour speech to see what they were saying, to see if he really said, and he didn't say nothing like that, or it was taken out of context, or they'll change a word, and or it means a lot. You know what I'm saying? People don't understand and or means a lot when it comes to a sentence, right? And so that's why I said I'm going to play what he said out of his own mouth and let him defend himself, because that's all we can go. I don't want to hear a talking point from another person saying, hey, he said this, he said that. No, let him speak for himself. Then we'll go and judge off what he said. And that's only fair. And that's how I feel like doing this type of content. I want people to judge me the same way. And I think fairness is not always given to everybody, but that's something that I try to do as being a person in this same space. And that's been my whole thing with this whole Charlie Kirk take anyway, is I don't really care about his rhetoric, but I don't want to get into a position to where I say something that a person feel like, oh, I'm going to take up arms and I'm going to kill you because you said some crazy shit or something I don't agree with. I don't think that is a thing, and we need to speak out more and more about it. But also, when you see people that's doing this type of stuff, that's mad at people because of what they say, a lot of times it's going to be either government led or they're going to have some type of mental illness. Is those two things are what I see. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, government led. This person right here, mental illness. You know what I'm saying? That killed Charlie Kirk. So, and I'm gonna just say this: I don't even know if the government may still be behind him.
I don't even believe it'd be mental illness. I don't believe mental illness. A person, so just my personal belief, and I'm gonna give Justin his credit because he's when he used the NBA YoungBoy comparison. That's where I got it from Justin. He made that post. I'll make sure I want to give him his credit because it was a great analogy and comparison and contrast to what one person is doing and saying versus what another person is doing and saying.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I lost my damn train of thought that quick. What was we talking
about? What people say.
Oh yeah. Say it again.
What people say, me making sure that I guess you're trying to go with NBA YoungBoy and how what I guess the following what he got and what the
oh yeah. So going with I had a brain freeze right there. But yeah, just going with the whole message to where once you start listening to somebody, you will be influenced by what other people are saying. You see, you jump on the internet, you see, damn, people didn't even know who Charlie Kirk was.
Right.
So why are you so interested now?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? What's drawing you in now? He didn't have you in before, but because you can run with somebody, he was racist. Let me jump on it.
Right.
Let me go and pull up everything he said negative. But when you really listen to it in its entirety,
you was talking about mental illness. You was
yeah.
Talking about mental illness.
Okay, so I don't believe a person that's mentally ill can carry out something this big by themselves. You're not mentally ill.
Talk about assassinating Charlie Kirk.
The schematics, the planning, the training, because I seen people talking about that shot. Man, you can make that shot in the backyard. No, the hell you cannot.
Yeah.
Not without no extensive training. Okay, you may take a few weeks, but it's gonna take some weeks of understanding and training. It's never be, man, you know, I'm finna go shoot somebody. I'm gonna go get on the roof. You ever shot this gun before? But I'm finna bust it I'm finna hit it where I hit it from 200 yards, 2 football fields with no problem. That's bullshit.
So you don't think no mental illness is involved? Him agreeing that about men can be women, furries. He agreed with the furry.
Well, I'm talking about from everything. I don't think he's I think these are just narratives and badges they're put on him to make it seem as if this is what happened. I believe when high-profile individuals are assassinated in this fashion, is multi-layered. There's multiple people involved. It's not just no one lone shooter. I think it's multiple. Because I had to know, I had to have some type of access. I had to have some type of familiarity with this campus. I had to get in position. You ain't.
Well, see, I'm gonna say this. It wouldn't take much if I know where you're gonna be at. I could go and scope that out a week or so.
Again, but it still takes planning to do it a week before. It still takes the thought and what it's more than just me being crazy and mad at this guy. This is a high profile.
Yeah.
So I still got to deal with, am I going to get away with it? Because if I would have just unalived myself right there, if it was just about the mission, or I just would have, you see what I'm saying? What's the probability of me getting away? Last time I checked, most people that do crimes, a lot of them really want to get away from it. They want to be able to escape. You had no chance. It ain't like you tried. Besides jump, you ain't finna go nowhere.
Well, this is my part. This is the thing I don't like about assassinations, right? I don't like people that have built themselves up to a high level being assassinated by motherfuckers that ain't built shit. And now when my name get brought up, your name get brought up. Now I'm immortalized and you immortalized because you just you got lucky one day. You hit the buzzer beater and you took me out, because if you would have missed, I still would have been going on. They probably would have brought it up. Remember the times, Charlie Kirk almost got us. They would have brought it up, just like we don't talk about Trump almost getting shot. Remember that last year? We don't even talk about that no more. But if he would have killed Trump, they would have been like, oh, Trump died and Lee Harvey Oswald. We know these names because these are people that have assassinated
John
these
Wilkes Booth.
John Wilkes Booth, assassinated these high-profile people. But I don't like it that, and we got sayings like in our community that you can get killed by a fuck nigga that ain't did shit, but I'm out here shining, I'm flossing, I got the chains on, I had the hose on me, I'm driving the whip with the rims on it, then just because a nigga hate on me, ain't did shit with his life, he come up and shoot me, and now he could be a big dog.
Yep.
I just there's something about that just really irks me to know that this 22-year-old kid that ain't never built shit, can't even have a debate, out here arguing with you, mad about some shit with a bullhorn being disrupted, can literally go just sit on a roof, shoot you. And now we will be talking about Charlie Kirk, and I think his name Tyler Robinson.
Okay, see, I ain't even know his name because again, I always keep a conspiracy hat on me.
Yeah,
what they put out there is, I think, because they started doing it. Well, they say he was a part of this organization. After these things happen, they come to doing more digging.
Yeah,
they say he was a Mason.
Yeah,
he was this. He had ties to this group, ties to that group. So when you look at the back end research when it comes out, they always had these ties. Those ties come with resources and training and agendas.
Yeah.
So that's why I say it's rarely an issue where there's a lone shooter when you're looking at high profile assassination. It's going to be a lot bigger than there's somebody that just didn't like him. So that's just my belief. Now the facts may come out once they do it. This could be the true case. It's just my belief. I don't think he was alone. He was working alone.
Hey, y'all put in the comment section if y'all want to have a call in real quick. Y'all want to call in?
If we want to take some calls. We see a lot of commentary.
Yeah, let's see.
What they say?
Saying he was a racist, homophobic, sexist, etc. means you have awful interpretation skills, missed the message he was trying to share, and do not value the context of every clip used against him.
I would agree with that. Like I said, that's why I say you listen to it in its entirety. So I look at the overall message. So I look at 3 weeks of work. 2 of them weeks you talking about this.
Yeah.
With no resource or no plan to correct said issue, because I would say, well, if he's talking about this all the time, this may be what he's really passionate about. If you're really passionate about it, you will do something about it. So I think that's where the interpretation gets gray. Like, damn, I'm talking about this all the time, but I ain't doing nothing about it.
Right.
Man, I'm tired of this, man. I'm doing this, man. I'm tired of being big. I'm tired of being in the gym.
Right.
You ain't that tired of it. So we always look at complaints and a consistent message and narrative followed up by actions. If you don't have any follow-up actions or anything you're putting in to remedy that, you just doing something. You just got crazy opinions and they got traction.
If you want to call in, the call-in number is at the bottom. If you want to call in, the call-in number is at the bottom. We'll be open for about 10 minutes. Let y'all call in to give y'all thoughts on Charlie Kirk and how y'all feel about him. But the call-in number is at the bottom right now if you want to call in.
And this is probably going to be one of 3. We may do some different Wednesday. We may follow up depending on what new news comes out about this. But Saturday, we reached out to a few people. If you're interested in getting on the panel, we're going to discuss some issues revolving around the perspectives and opinions of Charlie Kirk, to where I even talked to Sid about it. And I said, I kind of see this, but let me look a little further. But we're going to get into it this weekend, talking to black men, black women alike who reached a certain salary threshold or a certain lifestyle threshold. It appears that they lean towards supporting Charlie Kirk because they may view themselves as white adjacent. I don't stay in the hood. I don't want to stay in the hood. I don't want to stay around black folks. In the same capacity that a Charlie Kirk or a Nick Fuentes may say, I don't want to be around y'all. I don't like being, because the stereotypes that follow us. I think once we get to a certain lifestyle, a certain level of resource, a certain level of status, our views and beliefs may sway a little bit, and they may sway against some of the people that may have put us in position to begin with. So that we're going to drop that later on this week. That's going to be a panel discussion this Saturday at 8:00 at the New Normal Podcast Studios. For those who are in the area would like to be, send a DM to the page, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on TikTok, whether you're on Instagram. And
like I said, the call-in number is on the bottom of your screen if you want to call in right now.
Give us a call. Let's hear your take. What do you feel? Why do you think the media or the social media has chosen sides in this matter? That's really what it is. Those who are against what he said, I'm against you. Ain't that crazy?
Right.
You against what he said, so that makes me against you. You're for he said, so I'm for you. And vice versa. It's crazy how these things can switch out of 10, let's say 10 statements. I don't need but one said.
Right.
I need one to like you or hate you. Out of 10 things I say, all I need is one to disagree with you or find a disagreement with you, and that's gonna make me dislike you. You talking about people losing friends on Facebook, Instagram? I'm gonna unfollow. What? You gonna unfriend me because my opinions may align with Charlie Kirk,
Right.
or don't align with Charlie Kirk? You gonna unfriend me for that?
This, and like I said, if you want to go by what Charlie Kirk said, he said he welcomes discussion, he welcomes dissent, he welcomes difference of opinion. So if you are a true follower, and this is why I have trouble really following a lot of people that claim to be like the Christian ideology or religion, because y'all take one part of what people do and don't take the other parts of the Bible. We believe in the New Testament, but we don't believe in the Old Testament. Like, it's all in the same book. Either you believe it or you don't. And I just feel like, Charlie Kirk said, I welcome discussion, I welcome dissent. I literally on these college campuses having a microphone, you get to come up here and disagree with me. If you go back early in the video, we actually played a video of him debating his killer. If you go back early in the video, he debated his alleged killer. He debated his alleged killer. So you can go and actually watch him doing this. You know what I'm saying? So and that, like I said, that debate was contentious. It was provocative. The guy kept cussing. And even after Charlie even asked him not to cuss. And like I said, this is a 20-minute long interaction between them. And I just took like a 3 to 5 minute part. It just got that clip because, like I said, those parts are what seem a little bit more inflammatory in that moment. So, like I said, if y'all want to call in now. We're gonna be probably talking about Charlie Kirk all week. To be honest with y'all,
definitely will.
Baz, man, what's up? I ain't seen you in a minute.
What we got? Baz, man. Who else we got it done? What they say? 8 at the table.
Huh?
Aid the what?
The Baz man.
Oh, the Baz man. Okay. Grant. Who was that?
Grant said Charlie Kirk was the best of us. Love you, Charlie Kirk.
Shout out to Grant. Who's that? Zinner? What does that say? I don't have my glasses on. I can't see y'all. I'm looking at the screen. Zerup.
He was never hateful, always cordial and respectful to those who converse with him.
I would agree to that. I didn't never see him get disrespectful.
Yeah, I never see him get disrespectful.
I would agree with that. Yep. What you got there?
It says, I don't agree with you, but I'm listening. Anyways, I'm going to subscribe. Let's see if discourse can happen here in the spirit of Charlie's debate. Respect for putting your views out there, even if it's low IQ, in my opinion.
Shout out to you for, hey, just give us a chance, man. We may change your mind.
We might change your mind.
But shout out to you for engaging in the comment. But like I said, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I would never fault anyone but speaking positive or ill of me or whatever we discuss. This is what it's for, to take this and go build on it.
Right.
I came in with a whole different position than once I start listening to the information, because I feel I react a little better when it's my first time.
Yeah.
Versus being familiar with it. So, like I said, me and Said talked offline. I was, he racist. But coming into now, I'm like, yeah, I can kind of see how that can be misconstrued to a degree.
Not really. Said I can study hard and earn it myself. I don't need training wheels, especially when the grade goes to a job that involves other people's lives. I guess that's what we're talking about.
Oh, about the who's serving you and the opinions. Yeah. What else you got there?
That's it. Chris Watts, I think I'm saying that right. Yeah. Earned a sub. Loved how you guys actually went and checked the sources. I also love that you mentioned the Masons.
Oh yeah, shout out to you. Yeah. What else you got?
But yeah, I think those are the comments. So many of them back up at the top. I just want to tell y'all. Hold on. Let's see what.
These are call-in shows Mondays and Wednesdays. We go live at noon.
These are call-in shows. If you want to call in right now, the number's at the bottom. Chris Watt says maybe worth to mention he was starting. Hold on, he was starting to question Israel and had been receiving death threats the past 2 weeks, according to Candace Owens. Yeah, he did say that. I seen that in the debate.
We can get in that Wednesday.
Yeah, he said he started seeing more death threats when he started talking about Israel too.
Because that's the thing. A lot of people don't understand. Once you create followings and your speech spreads, it's not just the people that you're speaking about that gonna have a problem. It's the people that you haven't spoken about yet.
Yeah.
So I need to silence you before you get into Israel. You know, the Jews, the Masons, or whoever.
Them tiny hats.
Once they see what's going on, so they see build up.
Yeah.
So they say, well, he ain't talked about us yet, but he may talk about us as information comes about. Same thing happened with Malcolm X. He started questioning Elijah Muhammad, the Nation of Islam. He like, hold on, something ain't right.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, he in a box. Rest in peace, Malcolm X. So these are some similar developments, similar turn of events that you saw with Malcolm that you're seeing now with Charlie. And that's what we're going to get into as the week progresses. Who had a problem with him that we haven't seen or will not see speak on no social media platform? Yeah. What groups did he really offend? What groups or bottom line was he going to impact with his speech?
And if you notice, it always seemed like the conservative, the people that claim to be conservative or in their talking space when it comes to podcasts, always seem to round that corner, come and talk to about them tiny hats.
Every time.
Candace Owens was on it. That's why she got fired from Daily Wire. Remember, she started talking about the tiny hats. They got her ass up in spirit. Fuck that, bitch, you got to go.
Because most conservatives believe in sovereignty.
Yep.
Sovereignty is very powerful. It gives you autonomy over your own economy. It gives you the freedom and liberties to do what you like to do and what makes you happy, as long as they're not offending. You got some groups that don't want you to do nothing but what they want you to do.
Right.
And a lot of it is making them money.
Let me read this comment real quick. These two comments, and we're going to get up out of here. History isn't a black key or a white key. It's a whole piano. Reduce it to one note and you will miss the music. In Vietnam, like in life, blood was red, grief was universal, and suffering didn't wear.
Very profound statement. Okay.
Suffering didn't wear a single color. To frame it as only whites or blacks is to silence the truth that transcends both.
Well, no, see, I want you to make sure you interpret and understand my statement when I said that. I said black people had no business fighting a people that they have no introduction or relationship with. Just because I'm in the military. That's what I stated. And when they came back from Vietnam, you had the heroin crisis going on drugs, no resources to battle the trauma that came with what they saw in Vietnam. So that's what my statement was about. It wasn't about who suffered and who did not. It's about what business did I have over here fighting and killing these people who've done me no wrong.
And then what Muhammad Ali said, y'all got me want to go to the mall to fight some Vietcong. I don't even know no Jeep Vietcong.
But because you will tell me these my enemy, but I got to see how.
Right.
What they did to me. Right. Well, they're doing this. They're not doing nothing that impacts the American government or economy. Stop it.
Right. I agree.
Not in Vietnam in no motherfucking 60s. No.
I agree. So I want to just tell everybody, thank y'all for tuning in today. We will be back Wednesday at 12 o'clock. And we might touch that third reel.
Okay.
We might talk about that because it's always controversial. It basically did the tiny hats want, Charlie Kirk out of here. I know I seen a clip of him saying that since he started discussing Israel, that he started getting a lot more death threats.
You see a lot of legislature in conversation. The fact I can't burn a Israel flag. I can't speak negative about Israel.
I can't stop paying my taxes like in Texas to that county. Fact. We got to send $4 million a year to Israel.
Yeah, so we can't act like Israel does not have a big influence on American politics and the American economy and how we operate.
Yeah,
especially when it comes to speech and platform.
Right.
And I can say one thing: I'm anti-Semitic. I can post a link, anti-Semitic. I gotta do an apology tour. Shout out to Kyrie Irving.
Yep.
What? So you ain't gonna tell me these people are that sensitive and that impacted where they can put these things in place and they don't have a hand on the other side?
We was told, and I heard somebody say that we fought the wrong people when it came to Hitler and stuff like that. But
That's a whole rabbit hole.
When you get
I
kicked
just
out-
started going down there too.
When you get kicked out of 109 countries, ain't something wrong.
I just started going down that hole. Said, hey, I don't know if YouTube or the platforms let us really get into it, but I'm coming across a lot of information.
Hey, if y'all, as a matter of fact, if y'all are on Rumble, make sure y'all go subscribe to our Rumble channel. We're going to start kicking out more conversations over there on Rumble that I know YouTube does not want us to have.
Raw, uncut, unfiltered, unbiased. You know, that's what the purpose of a platform. We welcome any opposing argument.
Right. And we welcome it, and that's what we want. Are either of you Christians? If not, has your stance changed since the assassination of Charlie Kirk and the genuine evil reaction from some of the extreme left? Yeah, I'll go sub if you're talking about this stuff. Yeah, we definitely talking about that over there.
Yeah, I'm not personally, I'm not Christian, but I do understand the Bible, and I follow a lot of principles from whether it's Christian, Muslim. As long as they align right, I don't associate them to a certain religion. I know right from wrong. I don't need a book or a title to tell me do this right, do this wrong. I kind of know that, but myself personally, I do not subscribe to any religion.
I'm gonna say this. I think I would say I wouldn't be Christian, but I think I would say I'm Christian. And the reason being, I follow the Bible. And the reason I say that is I want to have something where somebody can go and look and see what I do and do not agree with. Right. And that's why I don't like when Christians say I'm religious. I'm spiritual, not religious. And the reason being because you don't actually want to go by this book and this plan that's really laid out. You know, you ain't supposed to be fucking that lady husband. Come on now. You know what's going on. Like, that's the thing. Those are the things that's laid out in the guideline where you can go and look and see what is disrespectful to me, what laws and how I should be walking. And a lot of people don't want to be held to certain rules and regulations and shit like that. So I just feel like if I had to subscribe to anything, it would be Christianity. My dad's a pastor, grew up in it, so it's nothing that I feel like is really just crazy. I do think there's discrepancy, but you know, man is over the Bible, so it is what it is. I don't know if God actually came down and gave them, you know, it's a lot of stuff to still be talking about, you know, questions. So I'm not, like I said, we even can get into questioning the Bible and the discrepancy that's in that book as well. So like I said, if I had to say, I would say that I was Christian. That way, you know, I'm going by the Bible. I follow the Bible. You can look at these things and these are my do's and don'ts, and you can follow that. So,
shout out to you, Chris, for engaging. These are great questions because you need to know.
Am I saying is it Cuss KYUSS?
Is it you said KY?
Caius? I'm saying his name wrong.
It may be Caius. But yeah, that's a great question. And I think, like I said, you need to be familiar with who you're watching and listening to see what their views align. Because we may be plants.
We could be
plants. But yeah, I think, like I said, you can get right from wrong from a lot of stuff. Even when you go to do the research, the Christian Bible and the commandments, you had the 42 laws of Mott, which would be considered in the Hotep community a lot of the end all be all when it comes to the commandments, a lot of the Bible and the stories from Heru and Ra and all of this with the Son and the Jesus. So, like I said, you can come up with your own code of ethics. You do not need a religion to govern you. You can govern yourself. I'm not saying it's wrong to have one. I'm just saying you don't need a religion to govern you. You know right from wrong. You know right from wrong.
He said it's Caius.
Okay.
Caius. Okay.
Sorry for the mispronunciation, but definitely great questions, great comments. And this is what we like to this is the platform we're looking to build, is to get these engagements going and to not be marginalized or not criticized, but not to be penalized for having a view that's different from yours. In the same way, you shouldn't be penalized for having a view or opinion that's different from mine or ours.
Yeah, like I said, thank y'all for tuning in. We about to get ready to get up out of here. Make sure y'all subscribe. We will be back Wednesday, 12 o'clock. And remember, Mondays and Wednesdays are call-in shows. And Saturday at 7 or 8 p.m. I'll let y'all know Wednesday. We will be discussing Charlie Kirk in a panel format. So it's going to be a lot of different opinions on if Charlie Kirk was racist. Do you agree with him? Do you feel like Chris's talking point is, do you feel that when black people gain I guess monetary status? Do they try to assimilate and try to be more white adjacent? We got a lot of stuff. Even when it comes to like Charlie Kirk talking about the black plights and the stuff that's going on in the black community, what are some of the white things that he could have just addressed more about instead of talking about black on black crime and single motherhood? Because I just seen Tim Tebow on the podcast a couple months ago talk about all the white males that we see in the molestation and child porn searches and shit like that. That's a big issue in the white community that needs to be addressed. And I don't know if y'all have actually seen those Predator to Catch a Predator shows.
Chris Hansen, I'm a big fan of
Chris Hansen, but the new Predator shows when they catch him in the store and they slapping him and stuff like that. So there's a lot of white issues that I think Charlie Kirk could address a little bit more than the worrying about what's black on black. But I also understand I'm trying to get eyeballs, I'm trying to get attention, I'm trying to make some money. I know that black emotions is like liquid oil, it's going to make you money and shit like that, and people will hate watch you. So I understand all of the algorithm and shit like that. So
shout out to everybody who tuned in today. Again, Wednesday 12. Like I said, this is going to be this is Charlie Kirk week. We're going to discuss a lot of the things that surrounded his assassination, your beliefs, your opinions, your fallouts. You know, have you fallen out with a friend? We're going to get into that Wednesday.
That's what we want to talk about. Yeah, we need some call-ins on that. Yeah. I want to hear y'all talk about how y'all fell out with people.
How is the workplace now after this, after opinions have, surfaced?
Right.
Close us out, Cedric. What we got?
Well, like I said, we're just going to be back here Wednesday, 12 o'clock. It's a call-in show. We need y'all participation. We appreciate y'all participating in the chat, but we want y'all to call in and actually have, debate us, or if you agree, you disagree, different talking point, a different viewpoint, something that we haven't even came close to discussing when it comes to certain talking points. Y'all are more than welcome to call in. We're gonna make you feel like you're at home when you call us. We're pretty level-headed guys. We don't really care about, like I said, dissenting opinions. Even if you throw a little quick jab in there, like S did earlier, said we low IQ. We welcome it all, and we're not trying to block nobody unless you're just being a real asshole in the chat. But like I said, we welcome it all. It's the New Normal Podcast, and we're gone. Peace.